Hello, hello. Let's get that audio check done. First thing I want to do, make sure you guys can hear me good. I got coffee on the way. I see Maurice Demers is in the house. How you doing, old man? Don't get offended. You know you ain't no spring chicken. Thank you, Shiva. I don't know how you guys do those hearts. As long as I've been on YouTube, 3 years now, you'd think I'd have all these things figured out. No intro today because I'm not using streaming software. I just went straight into the YouTube app to do this video. All right, Tony, Jonathan, Beth, Kiki, Bernio. I don't normally do shout outs. I'm just waiting for people to get in the chat, build this up so we can get started. Sometimes information just has to be hammered into us because we are subject to all kinds of psychological phenomena that we have to be on guard. Hi, Dr. Corey. Listen, Friedrich Nietzsche was not wrong. When a matter becomes clear, it ceases to concern us. That's a double-edged sword. One, it's good that things would cease to concern us once we learn them because it means we've grown. Now we're moving on. But also, we can't forget things. We can't forget prior plateaus of knowledge that we had ascended to. We can't forget where we came from because it's basically a step-by-step process as to how we got where we are. So, yeah, once we learn a lot of things, we're no longer interested in that. We want to move on to the next thing, learn more. When a matter becomes clear, it ceases to concern us. So if something is unclear, if something still concerns you about things that you just haven't learned enough to where you've absorbed that information, it's still a curio to you. It's still something that is novel. It is curious, but it's not intrinsically a part of who you are now. You don't know it yet. You just heard it, whatever it is. So thank you, Kenneth Small. Maurice, that is very true, Jason. We actually do not forget the lessons. It is just that they do not prioritize our attention. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get into some quotes today, some really interesting quotes. So, somebody had said they sent me a copy of Evolution Cruncher. I haven't checked the P.O. box in 3 days. I'll check it. And get it. The last thing I got from the P.O. box was Donald Abelman has sent some more books. You guys will get the videos. Oh my God. I'm gonna do a show and tell video. I'm gonna have to because I've got a stack of books over here with cards and letters from people. One book even had 2 silver coins in it. And it's a famous book too. But yes, I'm gonna have to do a show and tell video. Because what has been donated to the Archaix library is nothing short of astonishing. The books, people are finding chronological. Donald Abelman, I don't know how. She's like a sorceress. I don't know how she's finding these books. I'm having trouble locating books of this vintage, and she has sent me some amazing historical books, like books from the 1800s about chronology. So it's fascinating. So I'm going to do a show and tell video. Thank you, Donna Abelman and everybody else. Hi, Calgal, Dana, Deborah, Ashton, McKeer, Rim, Polyester. A lot of familiar names. Yep, you're gonna hear this. And I'm gonna quit talking and I'm gonna pull out these quotes because I've got thousands of quotes that I have recorded. You've heard me say many of them verbatim just out of my head in different presentations. I literally have at least 1,000 quotes that I have taken out of different sources from all my studies and in 3 decades now of just reading and researching. If I see something interesting, it's profound, it stands out, I write it down, I have a book full of nothing but quotes. You know what? Put the comments in here, in the comment section here. Is this something that I should render into a PDF? Should I put my collected quotes all in one single PDF, offer it for $3 or $4, and put it on Podia or Gumroad or something? If y'all think that's a good idea, let me know. It would be some work. I would have to sit down and edit them all up, organize them into the subject matter, and just put them all down. But I literally have probably one of the most profound collections of just dynamic, spiritually powerful, and philosophical quotes ever. You hear them a lot on my channel. We're gonna go into more now. Let's see. So many of them. The stack is really literally like this, but I just pulled out some. Paul Arden. If you can't solve a problem, it's because you're playing by the rules. Makes you wonder who made the rules up and why. That's just one of many, many quotes we're going to go into today. In the middle of a session of pure Q&A. No presentation today, guys. My presentation is the unveiling of some very remarkable adages, why proverbs, just wise sayings, philosophical deep quotes. That's my presentation today. But in between that, we're going to get some straight Q&A. It's been a while since we've done that, so I wanted to catch up. Maurice says $4.99. It will sell very well at that price. Thank you, Maurice. You know, I got a lot of things on Gumroad and Podia for free, but I also have a lot of things that are just $2, $3, $6. Chronicon's on there. I don't like to overcharge. I think information should be as cheap as possible. I'm just trying to get a little something back for all the thousands of hours of research and writing that took to put these things together. I'm not trying to get rich. Let's see. I thought I saw Meryl's name in here. The chat's flying so fast. I have the chat restricted to every 60 seconds, but it's still flying pretty fast. Hope you guys liked my little snapshot of my dad's. Oh, hey, Meryl. My dad's get together. I was leaving Willis, Texas, going south on Interstate 45, and it was at 5:30 p.m. and I stayed in first gear for over an hour. Traffic was terrible. I'm on my motorcycle, so it's the sun's beating down on me yesterday, and my dad lives halfway between my property and my girlfriend, so it was perfect. I said, you know what, I'm just getting off this highway. I'm not suffering this. And I pulled off and I called him. I said, hey, man, what are you doing right now? He said, man, I'm drinking and I'm with everybody in the convention hall and we're dancing. I said, oh, okay, I'm on my way. So I stopped off at a gas station and got me one beer and pulled up in there. And that's exactly what they were doing, drinking and dancing, all of them, octogenarians. Had a blast. So, yeah, but I had to get off that interstate. Got a little sunburn. That's okay. Yeah, we got so many to do. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just knock another one out by one of my favorite modern philosophers, Paul Arden. The person who doesn't make mistakes is unlikely to make anything at all. All right. So, the rules. Many of you know, my Archaix veterans know, and my Archaix veterans are always reminding new people that come to my channel. If you're not asking a question, then just type normally. Don't use all capital letters. All caps. Don't make it look like you're screaming at us. But if you're specifically asking me a question, use all capitals so I can see the question. That's the rule. It's very easy. Questions to me are in all caps. If you're talking to each other, don't use all caps. It's very distracting. Susie Sherlock. She didn't use all caps, but then again, I hadn't made my announcement yet. Hi, Jason. Your decades of effort are appreciated because I have understood being lied to upon. so to say. That wasn't a question; it was just a statement. But I do agree with you, and I thank you for acknowledging that. I have dedicated my life to finding the truth first for myself, and then once I stumbled upon certain truths and was able to put them together into a tapestry of chronology, I have been on a mission to share that. And in sharing, I knew from the beginning, just like my entry video, I have an entry video on my channel. If you go to my homepage on YouTube, there's a video that plays where I explain basically the origin of my erudition, how I came across this material and research, basically what Archaix is about, this chronological revelation of data sets that basically puts the history of the world together and provides such a synthesis that we can ascertain how we got to where we are today. Chronicon is integral to this study. My written book, Chronicon, which has never been published, it is only available in PDFs right now on Gumroad or in the Super Pack thumb drive, which has been upgraded. The Super Pack's been upgraded now, guys. I haven't even offered it for sale yet, but we have many copies. It's been going on for weeks. But the new Super Pack has been upgraded with all the new YouTube video materials for the past year and a half since I started selling Super Packs. All new materials been upgraded to the Super Pack, but also it's been combined with the Survival Pack, which has also been upgraded. So it's like a tremendous amount of stuff all packed onto this drive. I'll announce them later. I've been so busy. I've got hundreds of them now ready. I'll get to it. I'll get to it, guys. Let's see. Let me see with these questions. Where are we at with these questions? Yeah, but thank you for that, Susie. Because this is a Q&A, and Q&As require questions. N.O. Jason, do you have an opinion on the she attainments of the Vedas? Okay. You just kind of confused me because the word Sidhi is pronounced she. It's Old Irish, and it concerns the race of the Tuatha Danann that went underground. They basically became the fairies of the ancient Irish. This is where we get our Cair she. I don't know. You included the word Vedas, so you kind of got me. I don't know what you're talking about. Jason, do you have an opinion on the she Sidhi, the she of the Vedas? Yeah, I'm at a loss there. You would have to educate me because the only she I'm familiar with is the race of the fairies, from which we got Cair she and 100 other ancient sites that are all called she. I don't know. Renee Gold, SoCal Errant Expo 2023 in Orange County, California, October 21st. Absolutely correct. Don, I believe his name is Lewis, Renee Gold, and some others. We all had a Zoom together. We had a conference call together, and where we ironed out the details for this. But yes, we are going to have on October 21st. We're going to have a pretty big event. We're going to have several vendors there selling their things. We have Logan of Decode Your Reality, who's going to be a guest speaker there. I'm going to be there. Martin Leakey of Flat Earth British is also going to be there. So is Max Egan. So is Danny of Removing the Shackles. That's five speakers. There may be a sixth. I can't announce that one yet until I know. But we got a lot going on. Thank you, Renee Gold, for that reminder. There will be in the next 24 to 48 hours, we're going to go online with that, with the ticket sales. Ticket sales are going to be, I think, $99 or something like that for the first 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, they're being upgraded to $138 a ticket. It's like I said, it's going to be 5 speakers. It's going to be an all-day event. We got food. We got a lot of things going on that day. Oh, and we have Robin. You guys met Robin at the first meetup. but Robin has gone full tilt on Archaix wear, and it's 100% custom. Yeah, she has bought her own jackets, shirts, hats, and this is what she does. And she's been embroidering, and the pictures I saw are amazing. But she's doing some awesome stuff, and it's all homemade. It's all homemade stuff. She'll be revealing at the deal. So you'll see that online pretty quick. We'll announce it. Okay, this is first question I've seen, and this is the Acadie QC. Acadie QC. Forgive me for mispronouncing whatever this means, but in your January 28th, 2023 dungeon programming, I guess, video, how to phase out. You talked about your experience wishing material things into existence, but losing interest in them once obtained. Okay, 2 question marks followed that. I will extrapolate basically what you're asking about. Anything that you want to bring into your reality, if you fixate on it, the very idea of constantly thinking about something you want introduces something you can't control, which is anxiety. Once the anxiety attaches to a mental image that you have built, that anxiety is an energy in itself, which pushes away the very thing that you want. This is why letting go is the easiest way to obtain the very thing that you want. Many people have experienced this in their personal lives where they want something really bad and they think about it continually for weeks, and then months go by and they want it really bad. It doesn't come. Anxiety is set in, then desperation, then destitution, and then they just give up. They just say, okay, it's over with. And their mind has gone another way. And now they're thinking about other things. And once the very thing that they really want is totally out of their mind, it pops up into their life at the most unexpected point. When they're not looking for it, when they're not expecting, when they've already given up, the thing that they wanted the most pops back. It could be contact with an old loved one. It could be finding something that they were really looking for that had a lot of importance to them at that time period in their life. It could be anything. It could be something totally novel, like a new vehicle or whatever it is. It pops up in their life long after they have completely given up on it. It's very important to understand that when you really want things to unfold in your life in the immediacy, it's very important to build that mental picture and then move your avatar, which is a part of the construct itself. Move your avatar in the direction of receiving whatever it is. If it's a new car, then go to car lots and go window shopping. You don't have to go there to sign a contract. You're just looking at the cars that you're interested in. Then you let it go. You just let it go. Move on about your life. Do the things you want to do. Release it into the construct so it can absolutely be reflected back as experience. You can't project something and then experience it if you're still holding on to it. Yeah, anxiety is clinging. Anxiety is like clinging on to the very thing that you want to experience, which doesn't draw it to you, but pushes it away from you. Yeah, we can all think of experiences that we've all had that we had wanted things desperately and then never got them. And as soon as we had let it go and forgot about it, it popped into our life. So yeah, that's all I was talking about in that video. You got to release it. That anxiety is a dream killer. All right, let me see. Oh, I'm going through these questions. I hope that answered your question. I've got many other videos along those lines too, though. Okay, Makir, where did you get that badass poster behind you? Break free or die trying. I'm sorry, but that is another Donna. That is a quilt maker. This is a quilt. This right here is a quilt. And she made me 3 of them. And I'm going to change them out from time to time. I'm getting more organized, guys. I'm just starting to, but this is a beautiful quilt, all artistic. She did this. There's 2 more up there that I'll be trading out with something. Actually, I was supposed to take that down. This is an old wooden map right here. Take that down. I just got different props, things different people have sent me, or things I found in antique. These are all props. I mean, it's real. It's an antique. This is an antique magnifying glass. Everything in here is antique. This is a whalebone knives. This is Damascus steel knife. At the first meetup, a guy just walked up to me and gave me this. He said, "Man, I really appreciate you what you do." He said, "Man, this is my gift to you. It's a Damascus steel blade. You can see the Damascus steel patterning. It's beautiful." I was at the second meetup in Fort Worth. He gave this to me. I've been wearing it. It's a beautiful blade. But yeah, it's people. Listen, people are altruistic and good by nature, and they give back in different ways. And I definitely appreciate it. I got all kinds of things like this antique bell. Dawn hates this bell. I'm hungry. Need some coffee. Yeah. She's already taken this bell and hidden it from me one time. I had to search the house for 2 days to find this bell. That's why I keep it in here now, because it gets me in trouble. My old pipe. I got a lot of antiques and old pipes in here. I like old things, but a lot of these are gifts. Not all of them did I buy in antique stores and all that. But that is filled with spirit. The woman that made this is filled with spirit, and she sends things a lot, like books and magazines, periodicals, and her quilt work. And she's very appreciated. I want to show off her stuff right here. All right, looking for caps. All right, second question from the same guy, Acadie QC. I'm reading these questions in order. Right above his name, I see Victoria Z. I'm calling her out right now, only because this woman here, a year and a half ago, was just like Acadie QC. This woman here asked me 100 questions. But you know what? She and I got pretty close behind that. Victoria in the UK. She used to blow up my comment sections. Okay, part 2 of the question. If so, what about immaterial things like finding like-minded people to work and live alongside with? Will we lose interest once obtained? First of all, you have no business distinguishing between what's real and imagined, what is tangible and what's not, what is something that you cannot touch and feel, and something that is opaque. You have no business making that distinction, because both are equally your reality. It doesn't matter if something is a friendship, which is not something that can be contained and bottled up or made an association with in anything in the physical world, or a physical object such as a car. There is no difference. There's no difference, because this is a perceivable reality, not a real reality. Therefore, these differences, these nuances are only in your mind. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter at all. This is the life I live. And all my friends and everyone in my immediate circle, those I'm in a relationship with, I'm telling you, man, they have seen this, they understand this, they know. There is no difference whatsoever between things that we can see and feel and things that we can't. There's no difference. They're all mental constructs. So if there's something that you want to bring in contact with you, a former loved one, a family member that you've been estranged from, listen, it doesn't matter. All these things, all these things can be brought back into contact with you, because technically phenomena is non-local. It is only perceived locally. When I say non-locality, I'm using a quantum physics term. Non-locality is the true spiritual nature. It means that the all is present in its parts, and that where we can find truth in one particle, then that means truth is diffused through all. It's everywhere. It's like a hologram. This is why I call it the holosphere. Just like you being a piece of just a divine spark of an immortal fire, that immortal fire is the oversoul. So where you are only in part, actually the whole of the oversoul is contained within that little piece. It's no different than a cell. A little tiny biological cell actually contains the DNA coding for the entire body, for which it is built of. Therefore, the plan is in that tiny piece. It is no different. It is absolutely no different with the way you interact with the field around you. Your informed field wants something, you build that mental picture, and then you physically act. You have to. The avatar right here is a part of the construct. It's not you. It's like your spirit is putting on a body. And then in a fake environment that only responds to that fake body, you have to move and do things to get that fakery to work for you. Because the only thing really real is what's inside that meat suit. Yeah, it doesn't matter if something's fake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if something's tangible. It doesn't matter if something is opaque. Something that's physical. It doesn't even matter. What made it matter was you, your opinion, you thinking that there's a difference. There's not. You can induce phenomena just like you can induce the appearance of physical objects into your existence. Okay? You can change everything because this is a perceived experience, not an actual one. Okay, I'm looking for all caps. I'm skipping. What? Taking a little time there, guys. We're taking a little bit of time there. In the last one from Paul Arden, and we'll move on. Failures and false starts are a precondition to success. Absolutely, guys. You can't get discouraged just because you tripped. Can't do it. All caps. This is not a question. It's a statement. He says, I have never been happier than after accepting simulation theory. Thank you. Now, while I'm happy you feel that way, but I have to explain that simulation theory is a personal conclusion based off in numerous data sets that I cannot escape. Simulation theory is not necessary for the Archaix output. Simulation theory is not even necessary for the chronological output that I have elucidated through hundreds of presentations. Simulation theory is purely a personal interpretation of the data because nothing else makes sense to me. Our world is what I have uncovered is too mathematically perfect to be real. Therefore, I have to assume I'm in some type of construct, which necessarily makes me assume even further that if it's a construct, then what's it constructed of? Well, I have to look at the arithmetic, and the arithmetic basically tells me I'm in some type of quantum field holographic matrix. And that's the best way I can describe it. And when I do analyze this and I realize what these physics principles and teachings are telling me is that the more I scrutinize the physicality of the world around me, the more I find that it basically dissipates into oscillating fields. The more I magnify, the more I find that the physicality dissipates into distances between not physical things, but oscillating fields. That right there is very telling. Therefore, there's nothing really physical around me. So what is it I'm seeing? Well, I really don't know because I'm an immortal being and I'm subject to the central nervous system. And the central nervous system is a series of filters that allows me to only see a small percentage of the electromagnetic spectrum, to actually have a small percentage of olfactory usage, of audible range, being able to perceive in the audible range. It's so much lesser than the animal kingdoms. I'm very restricted as a human avatar in really perceiving and understanding the very environment that I'm immersed in. And the more I analyze this, I realize that, well, okay, with all these restrictions, then evidently I am absolutely independent of the very body that I call Jason, that I call me. And therefore, I am a personality. And if I'm just a personality and my avatar is something else, then my avatar has to belong somewhere else. It can't be independent of the world that it's found in. Therefore, my avatar is a part of the construct. And the only thing real here is the personality that is perceiving all of this. And what makes it very interesting is I'm not alone here. there are other personalities that are experiencing this with me. And we've been fooled into believing there's a whole lot more personalities doing this experience than are actually here. It's called the world. So yeah, it's the more we use deductive reasoning, the more we deduce ourselves right out of the construct. And with that, I'm gonna do another one. I like Paul Arden. Well, we're finished with that, man. Victor Hugo. A writer is a world trapped inside a person. I like Victor Hugo. I think I have a couple more quotes from him. I'm pretty sure I do. Not on that page, though. Okay, Benjamin Hildebrand. Does karma need to announce itself? Not sure. I would need you to explain the question. I don't know. And Trudy Nichols, can you speak on the origin of Eureka? I don't know anything about the origin of Eureka. Eureka is an expression. It's a word that's actually an expression of something that is perfect, right? Something that is in a perfect state. Eureka. I don't know. QBS Intel. Archaix, have you generated a list of the books you have collected for your library? Actually, I have a ledger that was sent to me by one of our moderators right here, Jahara Lee. She had sent a ledger for just that purpose. She's been to the first and second meetup and was taking all the pictures, the photographer. The ledger is awesome. It's right there on my shelf, and it's going to be used by Big John to write down the title. This is our next big project. We're going to write down the title and the title, the author, the date of publication, and the publisher for every book in the Archaix collection. And there's a lot more here, guys. They can't even fit in here. All the books in the Archaix library cannot fit in this room. So, but yeah, we're gonna provide those because Jamie Robbins has volunteered for the project, and we may take other volunteers, but once the list is done, it'll take about 2 or 3 days to do the list. But once the list is done, Jamie Robbins and maybe somebody else are going to go and basically Google every single one of them. And if we can find free PDF downloads, we will download those. And for whatever's hidden behind paywalls or just can't be found at all, we're going to do the PDFs ourselves. And then we're going to provide the entire Archaix library on a website for absolutely free. You'll be able to go download every single PDF of every book that we have. We've got some real rare ones too. Yeah, I've got a whole box on the floor. I haven't even put them on the shelves yet. I have a whole box on the floor full of books from the 1700s. Twilight Traveler. I don't believe in karma, Jason. What is your opinion on the subject matter? I don't know. I really don't have an opinion because I don't care. You are absolutely subject to whatever the confines are that you believe them to be. If it's the reason there is so much diversity in belief systems is because the individual soul is often subject to the very confines of the belief systems that are adopted by that soul. Yeah, over and over and over, we find that we are subject to our beliefs. We are actually put into positions. We're put into positions all the time that we would have never found ourselves in had not we believed the way we did. Because belief forges our reality tunnels. It creates the conditions of our life. And this is what's so damaging about brainwashing young people. Like especially young people that are raised in a really religious, dogmatic environment. It is so hard for them later in life to break free of that programming. It is very hard. So whether you believe in karma, whatever you believe in karma or not, it is your belief that creates the rules and dictates for the unfolding of your life until you go into your next life sim. But if the person that believes that in their lifetime right now, they will always suffer the consequences of their actions, I promise you, their life will be full of consequences that they will be suffering for their actions. This is the type of universe we live in. It is a reflective holography. It is going to reflect back as circumstances, whatever your convictions may be. Christine Most, when are you going to do a Q&A with Dawn Hart? That entirely depends on her. I did invite her on into a live video before, and she just, I forgot, politely declined or whatever, or asked me why, or I don't remember, but I don't think she would be, she's not running from it, but I just, we'd have to figure out what would the subject matter be. I do know that she is planning on doing a video with somebody in the medical field pretty soon. I do know that. Debbie Kennedy, do you have your books donated to the various prisons around? My publisher, Booktree, has really, since contracting with me, has really focused on prisons, because that's where my focus is, on giving back to, a bunch of guys. They want to be educated, and I have, at my own expense, I can't expect my publisher to do it for free, but at my own expense, I have probably sent 55 to 60 packages to prisoners, many of them who just wrote me and just told me straight up the truth. Hey man, I'm in prison, I don't have the money, I don't have any means to do it, I don't know of anybody who will order the books for me, and I'll just get my own books and I'll package them up and I'll mail them to them. And it's yeah, I give back. I wish I could do more, but I mean, there's only so much I can do. That gets very, very costly. I'm not talking about the postage, but even the cost of the books. But yeah, I do that a lot. I've sent photocopies, all kinds of things to back to prison, different prisoners, and not just Texas. I've had some guys from out of state contact me too. But books in prison go far, because you're not just sending to one individual. It doesn't work that way in prison. When you send a book to a prisoner, you can expect about 50 people to read it. Yeah, books are exchanged. Huge, a lot of interchange goes on. Books are commerce in prison. Yeah, and shout out to Dawn too for answering about 500 emails and taking care of people's orders and doing all these things. Yeah, she's been working her ass off. There's no doubt. All right. So those two questions are done. Looking for another one. While I'm looking, we'll find another one. Oh, Wicked Jester. In the 1990s, Wicked Jester had a bunch of pamphlets and books that were being spread all over America. I don't know who this individual is, but he went by Wicked Jester. And I used to stack up, I used to collect them. But it was like, in the 80s and 90s, bulletins were real popular. And they kind of phased out with the internet. As the internet grew more and more popular in the early 90s, bulletins started fading out. But bulletins were how little brochures and bulletins were how people communicated a lot. And in the Patriot movement, bulletins were everywhere. And Wicked Jester had some awesome ones. I got a lot of quotes from Wicked Jester. This is men without enemies are men without conviction. That's Wicked Jester. He's got a lot more than that. He's got some really good ones. Oh, that coffee's so good. All right. Looking for questions, guys. Okay, Greg G, this is a fantastic question. Greg, can you speak to the benefits and perks of membership? Yeah, I'll tell you right now. For the beginning of my channel, I told you guys you're going to have 100% of the data free to the public. You do not have to be a member to get the data. The Phoenix data, the Immortals data, all the things about creating circumstances, the Anunnaki data, the Great Pyramid data, the chronological data, 100% of that data is going to be free. It's always going to be free. What I had recently done that caused a little confusion with some people and had to be clarified on Facebook on 5 different groups is this. So many people have been complaining in the past year that I have too many videos. They don't know where to start. So I went ahead and I did the montages for the Phoenix phenomenon. Now, 84 videos have been edited down. All the intros, all the outros, all the shout outs, and all the extraneous information that has nothing to do with the Phoenix phenomenon was edited out. It took a long time to edit out all these videos, and then 84 videos became 8 2-hour presentations. That's how we simplified the Phoenix phenomenon. So now you have 16 hours of videos to watch in the montages. However, in doing that, there was still a lot of Phoenix-related videos that were spread throughout all the playlists. So we went through every playlist and isolated and created a new playlist, the Phoenix Archive. And it says public on it. This is 100% of the Phoenix data. But to clean the playlist up, what I did is I went in and marked members only for the videos that were put in those montages. So members can go in and look at the videos with the intros, with the outros, with the extraneous non-relative data. They can listen to all the shout outs. Yeah, you're not missing anything. I did that to clean the lists up. I didn't want to delete the videos off of YouTube. So I put them in the members only list. It gives them something extra to watch if they want to watch the whole unedited versions. But the edited versions down to the core data was put in the montages and in the exact order you need to watch them. So it simplified my Phoenix playlist, giving you exactly what you need to see and no more. You don't have all that extra stuff to watch no more. It's just the data. So I did the same thing for the Anunnaki list. I did the same thing for the Great Pyramid list. I don't think I've done a Great Pyramid playlist yet, but I did make the montages. So yeah, you're not missing out on anything at all. It's all there. It just there's got to be a way, because I'm approaching 520 something videos. I have to organize this. It's overwhelming to a lot of people to go to a playlist and see 85 videos. It's overwhelming. So I simplified it. And in simplifying it, I actually made it better in sequential order that you're supposed to watch them, and they're edited out. All the extra stuff's edited out, so you ain't gotta wait through it. You gotta go through it. So that's the membership also gives you little icons. Some people use them, some people don't. There's 5 little icons, little pictures that are in there that can only be used by members. It gives you a badge showing that you support the channel. And that's about the only benefits to the membership it is right now that there is. Now I do have free stuff. I have free PDFs that are on Gumroad, on Podia, accessible through Archaix.com, but everything's so unorganized. I haven't been that organized. So I'm going to put together a whole list from all these different sources of all my free PDFs. I'm going to post it on the members only too. So I have access to the little free PDFs, give them some type of benefit to being a member. But as far as my Archaix data, 100% of it is free to the public. You do not have to be a member. That's why you're seeing new playlists out. I'm trying to organize everything. I got too many new people coming, and they don't have a clue about what's a phoenix. Ain't that bird that's on fire? All right. Evidently, I'm taking too long because my whole chat just skipped all the way down. All the way down. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Merrill. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, JJ. If anybody I missed, Jamie. My chat went so fast I wasn't able to give shout outs and thanks for donations. Sorry about that, guys. If I don't get to your question, ask it again because my chat flipped. Chat's going so fast I couldn't see it. All right, Pamela, I'm gonna take a bite out that forbidden fruit. Josh Llewellyn, question: Jason, where do the Welsh originally come from? If rumor is true that the Welsh used to call themselves the Cymri, then they came from the Cimmerians, Cimmerin. They used to be subject to the Scythians, a brother nation to the Scythians. They're akin to the Gaul, which comes from the old Babylonian Galutha. It's an old tradition, but according to the Scots, the Welsh are distantly related to them, and according to the Scots, they came by way of Spain from Scythia among the Cimmerians, and at one time they were actually subject to the Assyrians. And if all that's true in those traditions, then that means that they are a part of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. It was the Assyrians that took the 10 tribes away in 745, and they specifically planted them on the borders of Scythia to be like a bulwark against the northern tribes they're having problems with. I don't know, but it's all in the traditions. It's what we have published. I'm looking for all caps, so I'm moving kind of fast. What we got here? What do we got here? A popular, he's passed away now. His name is C.W. Dalton. He's a modern philosopher. No one really ever knew him. His book, he's one of those men. He's like an 80s musician, one-hitter quitter. They just pop up, sensational, and then they don't ever do anything ever again. Well, this man wrote a book called The World is All Wrong. Everybody knows it. The book is deeply philosophical, but it covers modern events in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. The book is astonishing. I could not believe it. I couldn't put it down. But it's called The World is All Wrong by C.W. Dalton. In that book, he wrote, people don't see the world as it really is. Even if they had the intelligence, they do not have the desire. That was C.W. Dalton. Anybody can find a PDF of that book, I suggest you read it, because the man is going to tell you the business. He goes deep on the Fortune 500 companies, advertising, marketing, why the world is the way it is. He's very philosophical, and he has many, many statements just like that that are really interesting. C.W. Dalton. Okay, I'm starting to see some questions now. Yellow Brick Road. I'll drink to that. Do you think that there's so many people here because it takes so many to keep it going? Okay, I don't really subscribe to the humans are a battery to something else. You know, I don't care if it's the devil, Satan, extraterrestrial civilization, and all that. And this is exactly what this question infers. This question infers that there's so many humans here because we are needed, because we are powering something. I do not subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to Soul Trap. I don't subscribe to the NDE phenomenon. I believe it is a phenomenon. I don't believe anybody died or they wouldn't come back to tell me about it. It is something that just because the avatar shuts down for a small period of time does not mean somebody died. Death is the absolute removal of the immortal from the avatar. And that hasn't happened if the avatar is still here telling me about it. So there are many popular notions today that are postulated all across social media and some published books, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's in this question you asked, do you think that there's so many people here because it takes so many people to keep it going? I do not believe the number of souls here has anything to do with the propagation of the construct. No, I believe that this construct is an ongoing program that is on a loop that goes on over and over from Genesis to Revelation, from Revelation to Genesis, over and over and over and over. This program may have run 547,000 times. I don't know. And it may have, just like Alan Vaughn says, history repeats itself, but with variations. I believe that's what's ongoing. I believe the construct learns, it modifies, it changes things. Sometimes the programming has fossils in it, and we detect things in modern times that shouldn't belong in the reality tunnel that we find ourselves in. And these construct fossils are found everywhere. We call them parts. They're basically unexplainable. And when the scientific world is confronted with these things, they automatically throw out the allegations of hoax and all that, although they ignore their own hoaxes like Piltdown Man. However, the question, I don't know if you meant to infer that, but your question does infer the Matrix type scenario where humans are used to fuel the AI system. I don't believe that at all. I believe that you're an immortal being and you're sent here as a pilgrim, a sojourner. You're here to grow, experience, and learn things, and you're here to pass through. You're not here to save the world. The world is a program. It's not meant to be saved. As a matter of fact, we have a quote that even says basically that. We're going to get to that in a minute. Thank you, guys. Denise, that's good. That's real good. Denise Menace. Dennis the Menace. The female version. How can I get to 12-strand DNA integration and drop ego and catch portals to Inner Earth, New Lemuria? I don't know. I have no idea how you do those things. I didn't even know any of those things were possible. I just don't know. I don't know where you got this information from. I just don't know. I think that this information is coming from a source that is basically trying to convince you that you're in a prison and that there's an escape and that your goal is to escape so you can go on and do whatever you need to do. I don't believe that. I do believe you're in a prison, but I believe you're meant to experience all of this. You're here to mature, to grow. You're here to acquire experiences because you are not your body. You're something inside of it, a personality. A personality is something that cannot be defined by the cerebellum. It cannot be defined by the brain. There's nothing about the brain that has anything to do with the personality. And these emotions that you feel, they have nothing to do with the brain. These are spiritual. It's who you are. And this right here is an experience you're having. It is perceived, but it's not actual. So you are actually existing somewhere else. And I just don't subscribe to whatever this is. Inner Earth, New Lemuria. Less miserables for sure. Removing the shackles. Great Hugo quote. Yep. Have you read Robert Heinlein? The only Heinlein that I've read is a science fiction author. Unless you'd have to correct me. And I have read some of his science fiction. But I don't know if it's Robert Heinlein. Oh, I know who you are. Danny. You ain't hiding. John Corleone. Does the palindrome effect filter down to family trees? I don't know about that one. I have never even studied family trees. Family trees have never even interested me. I'm adopted. I just don't even know. Don't even know. Club de Salud. All right. Maybe there's only 144,000 real people here. I don't subscribe to that either. But the 144,000 the Great Pyramid is the monument of man. Every soul of the elect, the chosen, the redeemed, those who overcome, they're given a white stone. That white stone is built into an altar, the altar of Adam. Adam, who is mankind. The Great Pyramid, every single soul of the Great Pyramid is emblematic of the stone that's built into the monument. Mathematicians guess that there's 2.5 million stones. So that's an incalculable number, all right, to make the monument. but it's a very precise number. It was first discovered by French mathematicians. It's later been confirmed by engineers like David Davidson in 1920s. It is now known because of 4 casing blocks that have actually been found buried under rubble at Giza, and they're in situ, meaning they're still attached to the monument. These 4 casing blocks allow mathematicians to know that exactly 144,000 casing blocks are necessary to cover the pyramid. That means this 144,000 are the last. These are the last ones in the last days, because the casing blocks can only be added to the monument once the monument is complete and the number of the souls is set. Then the 144,000 are added on to the finished monument. This means the number of the souls is not 144,000. It's only the number of the final souls that are added, the martyrs, the ones who live through the tribulation darkness while they await for the completion of the monument of man. And then they're the last ones to go and to exit the construct. So yeah, that's why I don't buy into there's only 144,000 people here, or actually redeemed or awakened individuals here. No, these are 144,000 that are of the very final, the last. And I believe that they're going to be known at that time. I believe it's going to be highly publicized. Let's see. Benjamin Hildebrand, evil supposed to need our permission. Is karma evil? I don't know anything about it. The construct is a predator versus prey ecosphere, and to me it's evil. The banking system is evil. The bench is evil. Everything about the bar is evil. Any institution that requires the usage of vernaculars that are completely alien to the public. Yeah, if you guys don't know, the legal profession requires you to memorize words and phrases that have meaning only to the bench, the judge. They have different meanings for the public. To me, that's evil because of what's done. This is why courtrooms are a den of evil. They do almost the exact opposite of what our institutions claim they do. Yeah. Hell yeah. Courtrooms are fantastic places that evil thrives, and it comes out looking virtuous over and over and over. Courtrooms are terrible places. Let's see. All right. Phoenix Laurelius. Is that Laurelius? Phoenix Laurelius, aren't you the one that did a voiceover for Awaken the Immortal Within? I appreciate that, and I will publish that as soon as I put it together. I believe that was you. Jason, can you expound more on the differences between human births and other mammal births? Okay, I read a book from, I don't remember. I have the data. I have the notes handwritten somewhere in my archive here because it was so profound when I read it. But I had read a book that was showing all kinds of evidence that humans could not have ever been the product of evolution. While we can theorize that evolution may have been possible for some marsupial and mammalian forms, even though no transitional forms have ever been found, which is in Evolution Cruncher. Here's the book I've been telling you guys about. It's over 1,000 pages. This book smashes absolutely with hardcore scientific facts all relative dating systems, potassium argon, all the way down to carbon-14, dendrochronology, ice core dating. Everything is in this book, written by scientists, documented by scientists, destroying all the scientific paradigms, showing the whole dinosaur fossilization, everything I've been telling you guys. We lived in a vapor canopy world. This book has all the proof that the scientific establishment has been lying to us from the beginning about the origins of humanity and the history of the world. And I'm going to reveal a lot of data that's found in this book. This book's getting harder and harder to find. Dawn found this online. It was the only one available. She got it. I've heard other people have found one or two hidden away in different places. PDFs can be found everywhere, and that's good. That's a good thing, but they're making this book really rare. Evolution Cruncher. This is the book I've been telling you guys about for 3.5 years. I've been telling you about this book, and I finally got one. I read it in prison and took a bunch of notes out of it, but I didn't keep a copy. I passed it on to other prisoners, and now it came back to me. So you guys are going to get the business. But yeah, it's I read in the book from, I want to say his name was Ivar Zapp, and the book was from the 1950s. Don't quote me on it. That's what's coming to me right now. And I believe it was Ivar Zapp and another guy that wrote a book, and it was about extraterrestrial theory. And I disagree with the extraterrestrial analysis. I do with the conclusions. However, in that book, he was citing scientists, and those scientists were claiming that humans could have never been produced by evolution because the way the egg drops from the uterus, the way the egg drops on the female, it's like a parasite. It attaches itself to the uterine wall, and it says the very fact that humans need assisted births. Somebody's got to be there to tie off the umbilical cord and all that. So he gave a whole list of examples as to how the human avatar was manufactured using new programming introduced to all kinds of mammalian DNA. And it's really compelling arguments and showing that even in the archaeological record, whole human populations suddenly appeared. And it was in this book too that I was given my first glimpse into simulation theory when the authors themselves weren't even promoting simulation theory, but they were promoting the veracity of the data, and they admitted how baffling it was. And one of the authors stated, and it stuck in my mind for like 15 years, it stuck in my mind, and I never made the leap to simulation theory. Not until 15 years later. But what he said, I wrote it down into my notes, but what he said was this. He says, the archaeological and anthropological data leads us to conclude, although it is absolutely unbelievable, that whole human populations appeared ex nihilo, as if they were just put here by somebody else instantly with their memories intact. Guys, this is from two guys who were trying to explain all the scientific data that we have found out about the origins of humans. And they could not find a single shred of evidence of natural selection, evolution, that humans had evolved from primate hominids, any of that. What they found is every time a human civilization has been detected in the archaeological record, that civilization was thriving, intact, and had come from nowhere with no development whatsoever. No evidence of development whatsoever. They were just there. A Neolithic population was just there. And for these guys to say that, it just blew my mind. And I'm going to pull those notes out. We'll do a video on it. I'm going to go back through my notes to find out where I found that information out, because many people have been wanting me to talk about some of these books that I had read that were written by men in the 1950s and 60s that were making these claims. There's a lot of them, guys. It wasn't just them. But the books of Harold T. Wilkins and Ivar Zapp, and I can't remember that other guy's name. There's several of them from that era. The 1950s and 60s and 70s produced some astonishing research, and these books have largely been forgotten. So I'm going to pull them out, just like I've been pulling out these William Corliss books for you guys, and these Mu and Lemuria books. We're going to get into it. What we got here? Never know what we got. Oh, George Orwell, 1984. Everyone is born equal, but some are born more equal than others. Please don't ask for my commentary on that. That's one of those things you just need to cogitate on. All right. Let's see here. James A. Falkenberg, aka Rip Steel. I can't remember. I know you got a long name. Any thoughts of how many Genesis we have experienced? We've probably experienced multiple Genesis. I don't know. I believe that there are many people that are experiencing these life sims right now that have been here multiple times, and they're steadily descending more and more and more into physicality. They're becoming more and more crystallized in their spiritual hood. They're becoming more and more lost, while others are waking up. I believe just the phenomenon itself of waking up, like so many are doing right now, is evidence of immortals that are about to be ejected from the construct on the next reset. The next time the system reboots, these are the individuals that are going to go, because the construct doesn't need them here. You're a problem now. Once you have awakened to the idea that you are in a construct, you're no longer welcome in the construct. If it no longer can deceive you into believing that it's a real world in a real universe, then it's time for you to go. You graduated. How many times this is necessary, I just don't know. I just don't know how many times we've been through the same cycle. So pretty soon, Autodidactic and I had a scheduling problem 2 times. It's just really not, it's not easy scheduling between Australia and here. But I've been in communication with Campbell of Autodidactic. We're going to do another show together, and we just having a scheduling conflict. Same thing that Square Peg and I had. But Square Peg and I just spent an awesome almost 2 hours talking about calendrical isometrics. We recorded the video. You'll get that video tomorrow evening. I'm going to post that Sunday night for you guys. It's been a long time coming for Square Peg and I, but we had a blast talking about different stuff. And she showed me something about Biden, man, that just lifted my spirit, because I know what I saw. And she has confirmed this, and it's in the most beautiful way. It's awesome. But anyway, it's you'll get that video tomorrow. And Shiva Shampoo, our moderator right here, yeah, he and I are going to be going deep on Mandela effect pretty soon. I believe it's going to be a week or 2 from now. I got to get back with him. I can't remember. Okay, Jamer Funk, what's the difference in destruction between Phoenix and AIX? Okay, I don't know. Maybe the Phoenix phenomenon is a part of artificial intelligence X to make this whole experience much more believable. I don't know. For those of you who don't know, the Phoenix phenomenon was a protocol that occurs every 138 years. It allows the system to do purges and edits and resets while continuing the system. And this 138-year periodicity is absolutely a part of the control mechanism. It is a part of the calendrical template by which all other historical narratives are grafted into. It's not the other way around. It's not a 138-year program that has been inserted into a whole narrative of historical events. It's not that way at all. All of history all the historical timelines, reality tunnels are enmeshed with this 100, because it's the only thing that's remained stable. This 138-year periodicity of the Phoenix phenomenon, this series of edits and this series of resets, which have been very cleverly concealed in natural disasters, is it's very well documented on my channel and in my published books. And I'm not claiming to have all the answers about it, but you are very soon about to get my Phoenix thesis. I've been holding out on the Phoenix thesis, just waiting for somebody to step up to the plate and challenge the whole theory. So it hasn't happened, and I'm going to go. There's no sense of me just holding this data back anymore. I'm going to go ahead and release it. It's a lot. It's a lot more than I've ever released on my channel or in my published books. I never stop learning, and all the acquisition of so many new books has also given me a lot more data. So, I don't know what the difference is. To me, artificial intelligence X is an overseer program that is specifically designed to fool immortals into believing that this construct is actually real, and to provide the element of darkness, to provide the element of strife and contention and hunger and really pain and death, because these are what make the experience believable. If this was a utopia, if this was a Garden of Eden scenario, after a while, intelligent beings would wake up to the fact that, why is everything a golden age? How come this doesn't happen? How come that doesn't happen? Then they would realize the program was no good. And this kind of goes into some old traditions about the many worlds theory, where we have lived in a golden age society before, and it didn't work because people did wake up to the fact that it was too perfect. And we've lived in different biospheres, different time periods. We've lived in different ecospheres, and in each one, people were smart and they woke up that this isn't real at all. So finally, we've gotten to where we're at now. We're in a world that is full of pain, it's full of suffering, but it's also full of beauty, and it's full of love. It's a dichotomy. The best of both experiences and phenomena can be found here, and this is what makes it so believable, and it's all by design. QBS Intel. Thank you. I am creating a private database for my 9-year-old son to learn from. I will pay to have it PDF for my son. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, you're talking about the quotes. That's cool. That's awesome. There's a lot of people that take the Archaix material, my published books, and a lot of like one of my thumb drives, the Super Pack. It has like 200 articles in there, all about the Phoenix and the Anunnaki histories, all the chronological data. It's a lot. It's books worth of reading, but also the Super Pack also has every book I've ever written. Every published book is in PDF form, and every unpublished book. I have a lot of unpublished books too that are found on Gumroad, but they're also in the Super Pack. And I've gotten a lot of people who have contacted me, and they have homeschooled, or they are homeschooling their children with these materials, these historical materials. And I think that's good. That's a good thing. Lemon Cat, do you know when your next talk with Stellium 7 might be? We don't have one scheduled, but I guess we could. I don't know right now. Julie Nelson, do you think Bermuda will be okay when the Phoenix comes? Absolutely not. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Bermuda is in the Atlantic near the Gulf Coast. Bermuda is going to be moving southward about 25 degrees. Yeah, Bermuda, no islands. No islands are going to be safe in 2040. Many coastal cities will not be safe in 2040. All right, Danny, removing the shackles. You know, send me the list and I'll find them all. That is true. You are very resourceful. Holly Lingill, BMW. You've been here for a long time now. Would you go on Joe Rogan's show if asked? Yeah, I would. I have absolutely nothing against Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has interviewed many of the people that I disagree with. And I think as a matter of equity, I think the public should be exposed to the correct information. I have no problem with Graham Hancock. I have no problem with Randall Carlson or a whole host of other modern authors who are promoting these false chronological narratives. I have no problem with them sitting in the room listening to me give Joe Rogan the business and cite source after source after source straight out of my head of why these men are wrong. Yeah, I have no problem with that whatsoever. If Joe Rogan wants me on his channel and we can talk about all this, I don't care. We can do a round table. I don't care if it's 5 or 6 scholars that are in the room that are all promoting these false narratives. I will debate every single one of them. I don't need a book. I don't even need to take my paperwork. I don't need anything. And I think I will do just fine. I'll go on Joe Rogan. I have no problem with it. Yeah, it's remember, guys, the truth does not have to be defended. All I got to do is spit out the facts. It's always a falsehood that needs to be defended and financed. All right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Man, this coffee's got me wired up. Look at this. Totally fortuitous. I didn't plan this. I just mixed all these papers up. But this is Frederick Nietzsche, one of my favorites. A new theory has more need of enemies than allies. Only in opposition does it feel itself necessary. Yeah, man. That was a good one for right then and there. That quote came up right on time. Carly Simon. Do you think the sim will deliver another overlay closer to a Phoenix event? Is there an ISO test? First of all, I believe that a false apocalypse is going to be staged before the real one begins. That's what I'm on board with. Yep, I'm on board with that. Totally. But yes, there's going to be aerial phenomena. There's going to be all kinds of sky phenomena before the actual Phoenix event occurs. Be all kinds. There's going to be events leading up, even before the flood, before the Phoenix caused the flood in the month of May of 2239 BC. We do have hints of that in some Jewish legends, as well as in the book of Genesis. It says that Noah was warned before the flood that it was coming. He started building an ark. And it's either in the book of the Secrets of Enoch or in the book of Enoch or in the book of Jubilees. I'm not sure which one, but it specifically says that right before the flood, Noah looked up at the sky and saw that by studying the stars, that the sky had become inclined. That's exactly what you would expect. You would expect magnetic north to deviate further and further and further away from true north right before the pole shift. Then when the pole shift happens, true north will realign with the new magnetic north. So it's going to be and by that time in 2040, it'll be a 30-degree shift. Yeah, the actual shift isn't what causes so much fallout and damage. It's all the water that has to catch up with the land masses that's going to cause so much destruction. JB, can you read Latin? Only enough to get through with bibliographies. I can't. I'm not going to sit here and try to say I can translate Latin. I just can't. I recognize enough to where I can basically get through bibliographies. And what I mean is a lot of the books I read, the bibliographies are in Latin. You have to go through Latin Roman numerals and the books from the 16th, 17th, and even early 1800s. A lot of that stuff's all still Latin. Thank you, Jamie Robbins. I've been diving deep into the Zendavesta lately, and what's your take on its integrity as far as its integrity, as far as how our present and future is unfolding, and what's your personal opinions on it? The Zendavesta is older than the Old Testament. You can take that to the bank. The Zendavesta is Iranian. It's ancient Persian. And yeah, it's older than the Old Testament. Much of the Old Testament eschatology came out of Persia. Remember, guys, the Old Testament, historians will never be able to produce any evidence or data, and this is admitted by them, that the Old Testament was written before the 5th century BC. That's a problem because that's when the Jews were captive by the Persians. So yeah, guys, that's some dark scriptures playlist stuff, type stuff there. Yeah, man, it's a whole lot of borrowing going on, and I'm being euphemistic. Julie Swinehart, can a Black Swan event be mathematically predicted? Not only can it be mathematically predicted, but you can even use calendrical isometrics to show when Black Swan events happened in the past that were reported by mainstream media to be just actual natural events. And you'll see evidence of that in the presentation that Square Peg and I did It will be released Sunday night, tomorrow night. It'll be right here on my channel. Shanty 1949. Oh, okay. You changed your name. I know who you are. If you could save only 3 books, Jason, which 3 would you save? Wow. Wow. That's not a fair question. You only gave me 3 books. So any choice that I make is automatically a condemnation of those I don't pick. I wouldn't even know where to start. If you just said 30 books, I can provide a list. 3 books I can't. I can't even provide that list. But one of the books I'm most impressed with, which it doesn't have anything to do with history or chronology or anything, is The Art of Worldly Wisdom by Balthazar Gracian. It is many hundreds of years old, but that's one of my favorite books. Balthazar Gracian, The Art of Worldly Wisdom. It would be close on that list if I had a like a 30 book list, but I can't possibly reduce them to 3 books because of what it infers about any books I didn't choose. I can't do it. Oh, let's see what we got here. Abraham Lincoln. Common-looking people are the best in the world. That is the reason the good Lord made so many of them. I like old Abe Lincoln. Looking for another one. Have you ever had personal experience of the simulation? If so, do tell. Kay, you must be new to my channel. Too many people have heard that before. Here it is in 20 seconds. My very first YouTube video was not about simulation theory. It was about the Phoenix phenomenon. My second YouTube video was 1 year later, after I had a terrible motorcycle accident that put me in the emergency room. Rebar went through my arm, tore my tattoos out of my arm. Did have an experience, and I've mentioned that experience multiple times in past videos of what happened to me while I was walking around my destroyed motorcycle, and the dialogues that I had with people who were looking at my body, and I didn't feel anything that they were seeing. But anyway, you just need to go watch those old videos. I have told that story way too many times. Janine, any more ideas on letting go, finding, tapping into the inner guidance? What are your thoughts on unseen guides, spirit animals, angels? Greeting from Tasmania, and thank you. People who have had experiences with entheogens and with mind-altering substances, drugs, even alcohol, they have seen things the rest of us that when we are lucid do not see. And sometimes they're described as machine elves. And in the forests of old Europe, when they found a fairy ring, children would often report what the fairies looked like because they had seen them dancing in like a wheat field. And then the adults would go out the next morning and they would find a crop circle, and they would attribute it to the mowing devil, which was a legend all throughout Europe. The mowing devil was the one that created these agroglyphs, these crop formations. But in modern times, crop formations are, according to the ancient aliens crowd, they're done by ETs, extraterrestrials, aliens. It's all frames of reference, just like machine elves. It's all frames of reference. It doesn't matter if you're talking about bogies or hobgoblins. If you're talking about gremlins, it doesn't matter. These are all frames of reference for entities that are operating in and out of the holofield. People have seen them and they experienced them. It's because these drugs, they weaken the filters that we call the central nervous system. When these drugs weaken those filters, it allows for the individual inside, the immortal within, to see through the filters and see what's actually around us in this context. Otherwise, though, the central nervous system is very strong. It pretty much governs and restricts what you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. You guys already know you only see 2 to 5.5% of the electromagnetic spectrum. But if you're doing mushrooms, you may be seeing as much as 10 to 15% of the electromagnetic spectrum. And if that's the case, you're going to be seeing a lot of things that I can't see because I don't do mushrooms. So it's that doesn't mean that these aren't there and they're not real. It means that they're not a part of this holography. They're attached to another. And if existence is the difference between different vibrating fields, then all it really means is that we live in a multiverse, and there are many different worlds playing out at the exact same time in the exact same space, but they're not perceivable to one another because they're vibrating on different frequencies. These frequencies can be tapped into by basically the apparatus of the central nervous system, which acts as a series of filters. When these filters are operating in their prime, they keep you moored to the construct. When they're not operated, when they're damaged, or when they're diluted from chemicals or drugs or even shock and trauma, that's when you can actually see deeper into the world that we exist, or you can see plumb out of it into another existence. So yeah, I'm on board with the existence. They just don't have anything really relative to do to me, to me here. I don't do any of those things to experience them. So it's I can't discount them at all. Matter of fact, I can perfectly agree that they exist and they're all around us. Hell, I got a gremlin that keeps stealing my reading glasses. I'm not joking. Yeah, I bought 6 pairs of reading glasses. I can't find a single one of them. I'm wearing these old ones right here today. I can't find my blue blockers anywhere. I bought 6 pairs. I'm making that up. I got witnesses. I bought 6 pairs and they just disappeared. I don't even understand. I quit trying to understand. There is no understanding outside the context that there's a gremlin around here taking my glasses. Let's see. Stan Waxberg, that's a good question. Jason, is discussing and researching the Phoenix a form of dungeon programming? And I'm going to tell you right now that only you can answer that question, because if you're not objectively learning, then that means you're subjectively doing so. And there's a big difference between the two. I, for one, don't care how dark the information is. I'm going to learn it. I don't care. I've read satanic literature. I've read the cult literature. I've read everything from Francis Barrett to Henry Cornelius Agrippa. I've read the Necronomicon, two different versions. I have read so much material. I do not participate in what I'm learning. I objectively take this information in and I make the necessary extrapolations. But if you subjectively learn, then that's a problem, because it means you borrow into that experience. If you're researching the Phoenix phenomenon and all you feel is fear and trepidation for the future, then there's something wrong with you. I'm not denigrating you at all. I'm telling you that there's something spiritually wrong, because there's something that you need to fix. You need to stop researching it. If it brings you down to the point to where the subjective experience makes you a participant, is what I'm trying to tell you. If you can objectively know of something evil and not acquiesce. You're not a participant. You can objectively know that something terrible is going to happen to the future to a lot of souls or their avatars here. But that doesn't mean that you're a participant or that you even agree to it. It just means that you know that, okay, well, here it is. This is the programming. This is where the programming goes. This is how I interpret this. This is what's going to happen. And we can see this from multiple different perspectives, that this is the outcome. No emotional investment, because you know you are more than anything that can happen to you. If you're not adopting the idea that you're an immortal being and you're having a temporal experience, then almost everything you come into contact in here is going to be a subjective experience. And if that's the case, then you're going to be very moody throughout your day. You're going to have a lot of emotional roller coaster events, ups and downs, and you're going to steer toward information that makes you very comfortable because this is what you're borrowing into, as opposed to objectively just doing research and finding out exactly what's going to happen and then making mental, spiritual preparation for it and then letting it go. Because we have to adopt the idea that if the oversoul thought it important enough to provide the data, then we're important enough to learn it, and there shouldn't be any consequence. And if the oversoul thought it was important enough to have us go through this experience, then whatever futures are going to unfold for us, escape has already been provided for. But that's only if you're living the objective experience. If you're being subjective in your research, meaning you have an emotional investment in the outcome, then you're going to suffer to the magnitude that you believe. So yeah, this is like a contract situation. You're going to experience what you project. And if you're in the course of your research and you're coming into contact with all these things about the future and you buy into them as something to be feared, then I promise you need to fear it, because you are making that a law that will govern the outcome in your life. But if you're learning and researching and getting happier and you're feeling more freedom, no matter what you're learning about the future, it's because you're not subject to it. You haven't lent it your energy. Therefore, it will not be reflected back to you as circumstance. An out will be provided when that out needs to be provided. This is what true faith is. Faith is not preparing for an outcome. Faith is knowing that the outcome has already been decided and you're going to be exactly where you need to be when it unfolds. So yeah, it's a totally different way of looking at things. Yeah, Stan, I'm not saying that that's you. It's a really good question. It's a damn good question. But yeah, learning about a negative is not preparing for it. Learning about a negative is not participating in it. It's just objective. You learn about things all the time. We learn about evil things all the time. It doesn't mean we agree to them at all. I sure don't. Hold on for dear life. Ha! Hold on. Yep. Hold on. You need to do a Steiner quilt. You need to do a show. Would you do a show on the Noahide laws? I don't know. If I did, it would be for Archaix TV. It wouldn't be for here. Okay, Cindy Kristen. How is it the phone can read my mind? Is one demon talking to another? The phone cannot read your mind. But you can experience prescience. Yeah. You can experience in the field that somebody is trying to reach out to you before the actual technology informs you that that person is trying to reach you. Yeah, there is no time. There is no time and space in the field. This is a perceived reality, not a real one. And in this perceived reality, there is distance between us and everything else. But in the real reality, there is no distance. Therefore, when somebody is about to contact you, subconsciously, you already know. It's in the field. You picked up on it. So you must be hypersensitive if you are looking at your telephone right before it rings. It's because in the field, the information is already reached you in the field before the technology even has a chance to make itself manifest. So that's very interesting. Doesn't mean the phone's contacting you. It means that you are perceiving things faster than technology can convey it, which is not uncommon because everything travels instantaneously in the field. It's called non-locality. Squirrel Sniper, I got my box saga right here. I just haven't started reading it yet. I got my box saga. What is this? Oh, Berkeley. Here's another one. Few men think, but all will have opinions. It's another good one. I like Berkeley. AJX 399, no ice poles before. Could Asgard and continent of Mu be located on the other side? I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Telestai 77. Yeah, you need to go to Archaix TV and check out the Hats Off series. Yeah, man. I'm doing a whole history starting in 1290. I already started going all the way up till today, explaining exactly how the world got to where we're at today, because this series of events truly started at 1290. Moving down. Justin Kepler. Do you know if the legend of the dome and tunnels under the Sphinx in Romania, Busagai Mountains, is real or appears in any old text? I don't know anything about it. I have done absolutely no research on anything in as far as a Sphinx legend of the dome in Romania. Nothing. I've got videos on Vlad of the House of Dracul of Transylvania in Romania, Turgovist Castle. I don't have anything about what you're talking about. I don't know anything about a Sphinx in Romania. Let's see. Let's see here. Lemon Cat. I live near a city with a prison known as Monster Mansion. Have you heard of that? Nah, I ain't heard of that. I don't even know where you live. I don't even know what the city is. Never even heard of Monster Mansion. And me Seeks. I'm just going down the question. I'm not skipping any of them. I'm going down straight down the questions. Please discuss how many of us are immortals versus NPCs. There's no way to ascertain that. It was purely speculation. I'm on board with there being a lot of NPCs, and I'm also on board with the fact that NPCs are phenomena, not just avatars, not just other avatars like us. They can be phenomena. They can be vehicles. They can be drones. They can be trucks. They can be weather conditions. They can be anything that will distract or impede whatever needs to be distracted or impeded. Jeff Hickey. Jason, when will you do another prediction show? Love your work. I'm doing a predictions montage right now. As a matter of fact, I'm putting it together right now. And we have Square Peg Show and I is getting posted tomorrow night. Alex Browning, is AIX sentient or just a program? Can we hack it to use for our own benefit? I don't know anything about that. That's to me it acts with sentience, but it could be a falsified. I mean, it could be artificial. That's what it is. Artificial intelligence X. I don't know. I believe it's a program. I believe it's a protocol, and I believe the archons are just programs, subroutines underneath it that keep everything going. These archons do a fantastic job of creating new cataclysms, new natural disasters, new calendars, everything to muddle the waters, everything to get people from knowing the true times, knowing what year it really is, and all that. Because we're on an annual program. It runs by years. Unite and create for life. Could we start a fund for book donations? Yeah, you could. I don't want to get it. I've never, ever done a fundraiser. I don't want to be involved in that type of activity. It's like, I just don't want to. You don't see merchandise being underneath my screen, man, trying to show you. So I just don't want, man, I'm not even about that. I'm not about that. Somebody wants to start a fund and all that. They got to do that on their own. I'm just not with it. I don't want the responsibility. I don't. I'm all for donating. I donate books. I donate money. I donate time. Time is the greatest commodity of all. It takes great generosity to devote time to people and to conditions. And so I don't, and there's only so much we have. But yeah, as far as the fundraisers and funds like you're talking about here, they leave a bad taste in my mouth because of all the abuse that other creators have done in the past. It's gotten to the point where I just don't even want to associate. You know what? I'll take a financial loss to my person before I will have my name besmirched with all that just negative connotations. I don't want it. I'm not inviting that into my field. Thank you, James. Okay, Eerie. What is that? Eerie Jedi. The top 5 life cheats. Wow. Nobody's ever asked that before. Voltaire. Here's another good one. Another good philosopher. French, Voltaire. God preserve me from my friends. I will take care of my enemies myself. Man. Sing it, Voltaire. The top 5 life cheat codes. Wow. Well, I don't know if I can tell you 5, but I can tell you one. One is it is absolutely integral to bringing things into your existence that you do not possess right now. Phenomena, experiences, material items, it doesn't matter. You've got to break pattern because the very fact that you don't have these things means you're on the wrong reality tunnel, and you'll never be able to jump tunnels if you don't do a pattern break, because that's how it's done. You got to break. It's a subject matter of many of my videos. You got to break pattern. That is a life hack. That's a cheat code right there. Yeah, you're asking for way too much in one episode. I've got over 100 videos that talk about this whole phenomenon and how it's different than the law of attraction. Yeah, this is truly the law of reflection, and it deals with other laws like laws of correspondence and laws of sympathy, sympathetic vibration. Yeah, that's the main cheat code. Everything else goes behind that. If you want to break free, you got to break pattern. It's as simple as that. Rob Digital, you must be the one that sent me Rob Digital, you must be the one that sent me the email. Any interest in debating with Alex? I guess you say Sakiris? Oh, of Skeptico. Okay, of Skeptico. I really don't have any interest. I mean, is he trying to defend Graham Hancock's 9,000 years being the Atlantis deal? If he's trying to defend that, yeah, I'll debate him. Is he trying to defend the Anunnaki chronology, the Shars being misinterpreted by hundreds of thousands of years, when it clearly shows by the historical record that Shar means day and does not mean, it means turning of the stars, and it's one day, and it's very easily, it's overwhelming amount of bibliographic material for that. But if he's willing to defend the Zechariah Sitchin, Billy Carson version Disney history of the Sumerian king list being hundreds of thousands of years, then yeah, I would be willing to debate him. But other than that, debate him on what? Who is Skeptico? I mean, is there a certain subject matter he's interested in, or what? I mean, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is, and the only things I'm interested in debating are these very popular, basically, men who have been putting out false narratives and false histories, and they've gotten a lot of public traction doing it because they've informed millions of people of something that can so easily be disproven. All it takes is you listening to me for 3 minutes. That's it. It's all BS. It's all BS. Twilight Traveler, question. Jason, what is your opinion on time travel? I've never done it. I don't know. I've seen claims like Baron Trump. I don't know anything about this stuff. It's way beyond my. That's just way beyond my. Let's see. Thank you, Nancy. Dawn Hart tip. Oh, she's gonna make sure she gets it too. JJ. Let's see here. When do you drop the mixtape about singing about coffee? That's crazy. Yeah, time travel isn't anything that I could ever show in a bibliography. It's not anything that I could ever demonstrate. Yeah, I can't do that one. Time travel is beyond the realm of my experience. I just don't know. I am today where I am in life is because I've been building mental pictures and I've been moving in that direction. I've been moving this avatar in the direction of the very things that I want, and therefore reality reciprocates, and the field brings into my experience the very things that were only existing in my mind. This has been going on over and over and over, and I am now very successful, and I'm not done. I'm just getting started. And like I tell you guys all the time, I still got 500 videos in me. I promise you. I said, but I can speak on these things. I can speak on these things with authority because I have done it and I have demonstrated it. I started this YouTube channel from a wooden shack with $27 in my pocket. And I've showed you guys all along the way, and I told you what was going to happen and how I was going to grow and what I was going to do, and I've done every bit of it and a whole lot more. So I'm not done. I'm not done at all. I'm just getting started. But yeah, time travel isn't anything I can, can't show it on a graph. I can't show it. I can't demonstrate it. I can't give you any anecdotes. No books in the past about it. It's just one of those things I can't do. It's time travel is far beyond my ken. Well, Bill Cooper is definitely an anomaly. Bill Cooper. Somebody said, can you speak more on Bill Cooper and Jordan Maxwell? Not really sure why Jordan Maxwell is in the same sentence as Bill Cooper, but Bill Cooper was exposing government. Behold the pale horse right here. Some deep stuff. I read this in prison many years ago. It woke me up, and it's absolutely full of what used to be classified documents. Got pictures of them. He goes into how the government just basically he talked about everything. Talked about how we were all going to get chipped, how everything. He talked about things that were so far into the future. And, of course, they killed him. But, yeah, Bill Cooper's an interesting guy. Behold the Pale Horse. You can find that book out there. You can buy it. It would lead you to other books like The Hidden Hand, another book called The New World Order. These are books that they're necessary reading for anybody, who was waking up in the 1990s. All these books were very popular in the 1990s. And they're just awesome. Jordan Maxwell talked a lot about these topics, but Jordan Maxwell should be classified. He's in a league of his own because he was also a historian and a mythographer. He was very well read. My publisher has published some of Jordan Maxwell's books. But yeah, that's. Oh wow, Shiva! Somebody said I'm a CGI. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm a CGI generated. Well, if I'm CGI, I picked a terrible past to admit to, criminal history and everything, coming on YouTube, having to get everybody in my business since I was 17 years old, put out all these old hateful videos out on me. Yeah, guys, it's crazy. If I'm CGI, I sure picked a terrible one. I don't know when my Star Wars video is coming out. I have no idea. I have a list. You would not believe how long that list is. It's all video ideas. I just pick from the list and I keep going. I don't even know. Man, I like my bell. What we got here? Robert Greene. Being attacked is a sign that you are important enough to be a target. How'd that happen? How's these questions you guys are asking me lining up with what I got on this paper? You haven't seen me shuffle these papers. I'm taking whatever quote is the next one on the list. This is getting Twilight Zone-y. All right. My chat, I guess I'm taking too long because my chat just jumped and I got all different questions here now. I don't even know where my other questions are. What happened to my questions? You already asked me about Bermuda Triangle, so. Thank you, Prophet. Clay Pigeon. Yeah, my chat jumped. That's okay. 1,300 people in the chat. I hope I get more likes than that. I'm not trying to be a poet. Trying to find this chat back. Yeah. So it is. Debbie Shaw, if the solstice day has moved by 2 days, how will that affect predictions? I don't know. Do you have any evidence that they removed those 2 days from the calendar? Or if they added 2 days to the calendar? Because the actual timing of the solstice has nothing to do with date sequence predictive analytics. That system is predicated on 365.25 days a year. It doesn't matter where any of the solstices or equinoxes go. That's an old system. See, I'm looking for anything in caps. I'm not seeing nothing in caps. Justin Kepler, from what you've read on demons and spirits, do you think anything from the subject is real? And if it is, could these entities affect us? Well, these entities have affected us for thousands of years. There's way too many testimonies, way too many old books talking about demon exorcisms and things that people have seen. And even today, the paranormal is still a very popular topic because some people do experience these things. Now, I believe it has a lot to do with the central nervous system. I also believe that if you and I are existing somewhere else, because this is a part of the construct, this is an avatar, it belongs to the environment, it doesn't belong to me or you. If that's the case, then we are somewhere else. Our personalities are here, experiences like some super sophisticated, interactive, cerebral interface, holographic video game. But we are somewhere else. Therefore, what really is a demon? What really is a disembodied spirit? I'm going to tell you what I think. I think somebody on the outside, for whatever reason, unplugged some people. And when those people got unplugged, their personalities are stuck here in the construct because they're absolutely, completely now severed from their avatars, which are on the outside. It's a harrowing thought, but it's just a theory. Ian Briggs, who was the Grand Vizier in 650 BC? 650 BC would have been 63 years after the Assyrian calendar changed from 360 days to 365 days a year. 650 BC is during the Persian occupation of the Jew. Yeah, this is the Persian suzerainty over the Jewish realm. The 10 tribes have already been gone for 63 years into Assyrian captivity. I'm not sure what you mean by Grand Vizier in 650 BC. But in 650 BC, the Jews were fully under Persian control at that time. Ronan Arendt, who keeps up the Archaix Instagram, and can we get it updated to continue growing? I don't know who you are, man, but Archaix Instagram, we exposed just a couple weeks ago, is being run by the same troll that started 2 Archaix groups on Facebook using my picture and my name and trying to scam people for money on Facebook. And we called him on it and reported it to Facebook, and they removed both of those Facebook accounts. He reappeared on Instagram, and the Instagram looks like it might have been older than we thought. He's been doing it for a while. But yeah, it's a fake account. I am not on Instagram. That Instagram account is by a troll, and he's recently put that it's a he recently put on the Instagram deal that it's a fan page, but it's not. He's a troll and he's trying to scam people for money. So I'm telling you now, Archaix has no Instagram presence. That's not me. Has nothing to do with me. Yeah. Just some loser out there. Let's see. Hey, give me another one. I'm reading these. What we got here? Sometimes we have to rely on the strength of others to recover our own. Tacitus, 1st century AD. In the year 1800, Seth Payson said, "I claim no merit for discovering what I could not avoid seeing." I really like that quote. I'm going to get a few more quotes in. Lewis Mumford. Well, I've told you guys about this book before from like 1930s. Lewis Mumford, Technics and Civilization. A long, gigantic, boring book, but it just had some fascinating material in it. I can say boring and fascinating in the same deal because you had to read a whole lot of boring stuff to get to the fascinating material. But Technics and Civilization, time is measured not by the calendar, but by the events that occupy it. I agree 100%. Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas said, "Blessed is the man who reaches the beginning. He will know the end." Another one of my favorite authors is Firmicus Maternus. The beginning of anything was to be found out by the unfolding of historical events. There's no way that can be true unless you can apply some type of mathematical analysis to the unfolding of historical events that gives you basically the recipe for a construct. And then by using that construct, you can extrapolate exactly when different historical events happened. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Chronicon, anybody? Of course, I may quote him too much, but we're going to have to defer to the wisdom of Ouspensky right here. Future events are wholly contained in preceding ones, and if we could know the force and direction of all events which have happened up until the present moment, for example, if we knew all the past, then we can know all the future. P.D. Ouspensky. This is like 90 years ago. Again, Lewis Mumford, Technics and Civilization. The past that is already dead remains present in the future that has yet to be born. And of course, Goethe. Everybody knows Goethe. Coming events cast their shadow before. Here's a very unpopular quote. But Archaix is pretty unpopular too, so I guess it fits in. Pope Leo X, 1521. It is well known the gains we have made through the fable of Christ. Yeah, man. We're going to get some more quotes here in a minute. Holly Lingdale, do you see the glass as half empty or half full? Do you see yourself as a gold or a silver person? I don't know what gold or silver person means. I would always choose gold. I don't know. Gold's more valuable, isn't it? I don't know. I'm an optimist. I'm always an optimist. I'm an eternal optimist. I'm gonna see the good in almost all situations. Do it all the time. Coming from a doomsayer. That's crazy. That's crazy. I haven't seen a map of the lands beyond the ice wall. I don't know. As far as I know, you can educate me. But as far as I know, the whole theory about continents being on the outside of an ice wall, outside of Antarctica, that entire theory is predicated on the fact that I'm supposed to accept that the patterns on the moon are a partial configuration that, I don't know, man. Y'all gonna have to educate me because I'm wrapping my mind around more than I have the ability to put into words. Something about the moon's being a reflection of the Earth, but it's not accurate unless I accept all these other land masses. So I have to take one unknown and add it to another unknown to produce something that I'm going to claim is known. Listen, like I said, I don't know. You're going to have to educate me on that. It's to me, I don't understand the whole theory. But something has to be very clear. So because all things that are truly true, I mean, they're very clear. They're very clear. They're very easy to digest and process. if I have to make all kinds of intellectual hurdles in order to reach a conclusion that you want me to reach, there's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. Jamie Robbins, the show Foundation is great. Yeah, I've watched the first two, maybe 2.5 episodes. It's something else. It's very interesting. Yeah, Mark Bacanick, Jason, what is your take on parasites? Seems to have creeped into the narrative lately. Yeah, I don't know anything about them. I know that yeah, some things I need to talk about on Archaix TV. They're just, yeah, there's things that just will instantly flag your channel talking about here. I've seen pictures of what people are holding in their hands that came out of human bodies that are just inexplicable. I don't know. Just don't know. Let's see. Hey, I heard somebody's talking to Autodidactic. Campbell's in here somewhere. Yeah, I was just telling everybody, Campbell, we've been having a scheduling problem. Let's see. I'm looking for all capitals, guys. I see a couple other questions, but they're not in capital. Matt Murrah, do you still foresee a Carrington event this September, October? I'm foreseeing some type of event. Initially, I said it was a false Carrington event, but that's like a power blackout. I don't know. I don't know what exactly I'm expecting. I have explained it as a power blackout, an information blackout, or some type of massive regional shutdown of the internet, maybe a whole worldwide shutdown of the internet, maybe a fundamental change in the internet. I don't know. I do know that this year I have seen something very peculiar, which I reveal that with Square Peg. I am subscribed to multiple different things, and something has happened to all of them very recently. That yeah, it's a huge change, and it's coming over fast over the entire internet. And so we're you'll get that in tomorrow's video. Square Peg and I have already recorded that. We've even talked about the same topic again. So yeah, I'm not taking it away. I'm expecting something great, some type of large event where everybody's going to know. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I just don't know how they're going to mask it. Some extraterrestrial deal or EMP or X flare, solar activity, earthquake. I don't know how they're going to mask it. I don't know. I do not know, but I do know. C.W. Dalton again. The world's all wrong and everybody knows it. He said, one who believes that the purpose of life is living loses nothing when he dies. And William Blake, the famous philosopher William Blake, the man who does not believe in miracles makes it certain that he will never partake in one. Man, say that again. Baltazar Gracian, one of my favorites. The brighter the torch, the quicker the burning. Man, I love Baltazar Gracian. I got a bunch of his quotes in here too. Another personal favorite of mine is Ernest Holmes from 1919. The same year, 1919 was the same year that Charles Hoy Fort published The Book of the Damned, one of my all-time favorite books. In 1919, Ernest Holmes wrote, "Fate is in our hands. The whole trouble has been that we reason as men and not as gods." Say it again, Mr. Holmes. Judge Holmes. I forgot Ernest Holmes was a judge. Yeah. James Ray. When you look at your current state of affairs and define yourself by that, then you doom yourself to have nothing more but the same in the future. Informed field, anyone? Feedback loop, anyone? I talk about these things all the time. This is another one of those cheat codes I've been telling you that old guy asked me about. Yeah, this tell you guys all the time. You got to break pattern. Man, that's right. You got to speak those things that are not as if they are. Wallace Wattles, 1910. The answer to prayer is not according to your faith while you are talking, but according to your faith while you are working. You got to build a mental picture, and then once that mental picture is built, then you got to move your avatar in the direction that it needs to be going for whatever it is to be fulfilled. You don't have to finish. You're the architect, you're not the builder. Yeah. I'm going to say that again. You are the architect, not the builder. Yeah, you got to move in the direction to get things initiated and started. That's exactly what he's talking about right here. Faith has nothing to do with what you're doing while you're talking. It has everything to do with what you're doing while you're doing, while you're working. Say it again, 1910, Wallace Wattles. What we got here? Voltaire again. I like Voltaire. When one tries to change institutions without having changed the nature of men, that unchanged nature of men will soon resurrect those institutions. Say, man, you're absolutely correct. And Will Durant, German philosopher, Will Durant. We shall leave the world as foolish and as wicked as we found it. Hell yeah. Will Durant knew. We're not here to save the world. We're here to experience it, to learn from it, and to move on. That's right. And this isn't the only world, guys. We got a whole bunch of worlds to experience and all that. That's, yeah. Leo B. What do you think about preparing for the Vapor Canopy and Phoenix event? I don't think anything about it. I'm still researching the Phoenix event. I'm about to release my Phoenix thesis so you can see all the data. Yeah, it's I don't think anything about it. I'm absolutely objective about it. It's 16.85 years away until the Phoenix event. I'm not worried about it. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, because according to the eschatological programming, according to the programming templates that we have called the Book of Revelation and relevant prophecies, there's a whole lot going to happen between now and then. So I'm not really worried about it, but I'm not worried about those events either, because I believe that I'm an immortal soul. And I believe that I can draw from myself more than I contain. And that's only possible if I'm attached to something greater than I, such as the Oversoul. And I don't believe the Oversoul just threw me in here just to turn me into a victim. I believe the Oversoul has a plan. And that plan requires that I just have faith and move forward. Because as long as I'm moving forward, every obstacle that stands in my way is going to be removed until the Oversoul thinks that it's time to remove me from the construct. Simple as that. You got to do everything with absolutely no fear. You got to be fearless. You got to break free or die trying. It's as simple as that. Let's see. Flat Earth Zoomer. If Enki is Enoch, is he human or something else? Be easy on me. I'm new. Thanks for your videos and hard work. Well, I appreciate that. First of all, Enki is the memory of an individual who can be dated perfectly to 3439 BC in different ways. He is a Sumerian memory. Enoch is a Jewish memory based off Babylonian records that can be positively dated to 3439 BC by a totally different species of mathematical analysis. Enoch and Enki have many parallels. independent of the chronological one that I just mentioned. These data sets are all over my channel and in my published books. So it's not that Enki and Enoch are the same individual. It's that Enki and Enoch are memories from their respective cultures concerning the same individual. And yes, it's he was a benefactor, and he was during the vapor canopy world, and he built a project, and it pissed off the other gods, it pissed off the other personalities who were existing at the time, because they felt that he had done something that he wasn't supposed to do, so they demonized him. And yeah, it's there's a lot of that material on my channel. You will find all kinds of things about Enki and Enoch in two sources. One is my Great Pyramid videos, my Lost Scriptures videos, and the other is in the Anunnaki videos. There's a matter of fact, there's a whole video. Enoch and Enki are one. You know what? I'm gonna do that again. Let's do it again. What we got left here? I could actually read quotes for days. Niccolo Machiavelli. You guys know about him. I read both of his books. I wrote his book, The Art of War, and I wrote his book called Discourses. But it's we see that men are frequently in the greatest danger when they think themselves most secure. That sounds like the story of the flood. Danielle Lichblah. How can I contact my higher power and tap into the field? Well, you're halfway there, acknowledging that there is a higher power. You can call it Oversoul, you can call it the Goddess. It doesn't even matter. These are all frames of reference. It doesn't even matter. It's like the NDE experience. It doesn't matter. If you were born in a Judeo-Christian world, if you're a Christian, and you think you die because your avatar's shut down, and you get on YouTube talking about, hey man, I died, I was dead for like 14 minutes, and I saw Jesus, and he told me, hey man, I got a plan for your life, man. You turn around, you go back. Okay, that's fine. But the man who dies in sub-Saharan Africa is not talking to Jesus. He's talking to somebody else. Just like the person in India go and talks to Brahma. Or in a different place in India, somebody dies, comes back to life, and then gets on YouTube and talks about it in India on a YouTube channel that's all in Indian, and he's going off talking about, man, Shiva told me, man, I had a plan for my life, and I need to go back, and I'm here to tell you all about it, of what I saw on the other side. These are frames of reference. Not one of these individuals died. Not one of them. Because they're all back here telling us about it. They were just separated from their avatar for a short period of time. They didn't die, they came back. So while they were in that state, their mind put together the necessary picture in the frames of reference that mind could do, which was according to their programming. So you need to decide what this oversoul is to you. It doesn't even matter, because the oversoul is so understanding that it's never going to penalize you, because your perception of it is different than somebody else's. That's ridiculous. That's dungeon programming. You're halfway there, Danielle. All you have to you already admit there's a higher power. So if you want to tap into the field, then that's all you have to do is find a quiet moment and tell the oversoul, hey, check this out. I'm a little confused about things. I know there's information out there. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to learn. I listened to this guy, Archaix. He told me some wild shit. I don't understand it. You know what? I just want to know where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. I promise you, you have that heart to heart with the oversoul, no matter what parameters you put on that oversoul, and I promise you it's going to reflect back as conditions and circumstances in your life that's going to answer for you the deep things that you required of it. Simple as that. Yeah. We live in a very, very simple universe. It's humans that introduce all the complexity. Let's see. Oh, my favorite, Baltazar Gratian again. Things do not count for what they are, but for what they seem. Man, this man said this 500 years ago, guys. I love Baltazar Gratian. All right. 8th century BC, at least 27 centuries ago, Theognis said, "Plenty has destroyed more than famines ever killed." Wow. Atlantis, anybody? Let's see here. Also, author Schopenhauer, my German friend. There are more things that terrify us than there are that oppress us. And we suffer more often in opinion than in reality. Man, mainstream media, anybody? Mainstream media, we suffer in opinion more than in reality. Man, I tell people this on my channel all the time. Yeah, quit listening to mainstream media poison, because that's what it does. It introduces new variables into your informed field that aren't even real. It gets you vibrating on a base frequency that has you low and depressed and developing psychoses. And then your body, your avatar, starts to reflect the very things that are raging within you. So you get uncomfortable, you get aches and cramps, and you get these pains that sometimes disease sets in. And mainstream media has saturated you with so much negativity, but none of it's a part of your reality. You're not experiencing anything that you see others experiencing on mainstream media. Yet you introduce that into your life, and then you begin to feel the very same things the collective feels. Therefore, you are now suffering the very things that you weren't suffering when you took that information in. It's ridiculous. I tell people all the time, get the hell out of that world. Get out of MSM. Marcel Proust, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new lands, but in seeing with new eyes. Marcel Proust. Man, preach it, brother. Awesome. So, the power of your subconscious mind, page 14. Your subconscious mind is the builder of your body, and it can heal you. Lull yourself to sleep every night with the idea of perfect health, and your subconscious, being your faithful servant, will obey you. That's a good book, guys. The power of your subconscious mind. This entire page is quotes from that book. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, page 14. Yeah, that's a good book. Look back at this quote. This video is going a little bit longer than normal, guys. It's been a while since I did a Q&A. I don't know anything about Jordan Peterson. Guys, I really do not have time to I know the name. I've seen his face pop up on YouTube. I've never listened to a Jordan Peterson. I don't know anything about him. I just know. You're asking me if he's paid opposition. How would I know? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know. He seems to be consulting I don't even know who he is. Consultant, psychologist. Why everybody listens to him, I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, now my chat flipped again. I know I'm taking too long. Okay, Mr. Rock Beaver. Jason Bro, regarding art and paintings through history, has anyone tried to tell us about the Phoenix? Yes, absolutely yes. The Phoenix is one of the hallmarks of the secret conveyances that are found in alchemical treatises. I've got videos showing the illustrations from alchemical texts. The Phoenix is the subject matter, hiding underground, the elite hiding underground, men and women chained to the construct of time itself. These elements are all in there. The Phoenix is not only shown in symbol form, but the word Phoenix is found hidden in a lot of these texts, sometimes overtly. It's not even hidden. So, yes, I'm going to go deeper into these trades. Now that I have thousands of more images to look through from Martin Leakey, and from Danny of Removing the Shackles, I'm going to be going through a lot of these alchemical texts to show you guys what I've already showed you in 2 videos, which is very compelling. But the whole idea of alchemy, there are people that got absorbed into the materialist interpretation of alchemy, which is the transmutation of base metals into gold. But that's not even That right there was the cover. This is how, in a world of censorship in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance period, when they knew they were being watched, when they knew they could be tortured in a dungeon, when they knew they could be put at the stake, they conveyed divine secrets in the alchemical treatises, so that when they were caught with these the authorities would automatically think that they were trying to figure out alchemy or be an alchemist and trying to make medicines and trying to make tinctures and trying to make gold from base metals. That was easier to defend against than what those treatises are actually conveying. So yeah, 100%. They're telling us about the Phoenix. I mean, this is so serious, guys, that anybody who has read my book in the Planets of Apocalypse knows Nostradamus in his personal letters that all of this was codified. All of this, the original books were burned because he didn't want to burn at the stake with them. So he codified all these prophecies. He encoded the 138-year periodicity of the Phoenix in the quatrains. He even named the Phoenix. He even got the dates precisely right. He even got the month right, the month of May. And I show this. It's irrefutable. You can't even overturn this data. It's set in stone. It is so persuasive. There's no way I could have made this stuff up. It's all in his quatrains using a date index that was published by somebody else who doesn't even know anything about my research. So yeah, it's crazy. It's all crazy. But yes, absolutely. They've been trying to tell us about the Phoenix for a long time. And there's been forces in this world that have been opposing that. Shanty shanty. Just accept you're having an amazing life. It's a miracle that you're here, so miracles exist. Life is an amazing miracle. 100%. Hell yeah, it's amazing. Life is awesome. Don't get me wrong, we all have our ups and downs, but man, once you realize how easy it is to go up, you just keep going up, keep soaring. No doubt. Got to shut off that fear porn. That's right, Shiva Shampoo. You got to shut off that fear porn. We don't like fear porn. It just steals your soul energy. That's all. Oh, Charles Fort, 1932. This is in one of his other books, not Book of the Damned. This might be in Low or New Lands, one of his other books. I do not know what the mind of an astronomer looks like, but I think of a fizzle with excuses revolving around it. Gotta love his sense of humor. And one of my favorites, Sherlock Holmes, of course. Hiding behind Sherlock Holmes is the genius of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Man, I do that all the time in the Archaix research. We go through all the facts and then eliminate all the dross. And here's I've quoted him a few times, Franz Boas. Record enough facts and the answers will fall to you like ripe fruit. Do that all the time. That's one of my methods. Nisargadatta Maharaj. God, you got to forgive me. I'm an East Texas Southern boy, and I am not going to get these names right. Nisargadatta Maharaj. The search for reality is the most dangerous of all undertakings, for it destroys the world in which you live. Wow. And Helen Vandeman, there is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. Man, I love that statement. There is no death because an opposite to God does not exist. She also said, this is Helen Vandeman, she also said, to begin a theory with a lie means everything that follows from it will be a lie as well. What? 9,000 years BC Atlantis, anybody? Oh my God. I like that quote. Wow. Victor Hugo, an invasion of armies can be resisted, but not an idea whose time has come. Rene Descartes, you guys know who that is. The father of deductive analysis. Rene Descartes. Oh my God. When I read his book, I had to put it down. Yeah, I did not like the fact that a man 400 years ago was basically explaining why my whole mental faculties and cognition was just the opposite of what it should be. I did not like learning from an old book just how badly I had been trained to think. Rene Descartes. I am something more than I suppose myself to be. And perhaps all those perfections which I attribute to God are in some way potentially in me. I'm going to tell you now, that is one of his most lightest proverbs or statements, because Descartes is deep. His books are so deep, you got to put them down to process it and then come back and read it again. Yeah, especially on his little training manuals on how to think. All right, we're going to go with, I hope I'm not boring you guys with all these quotes. Here's another one. Henry Cornelius Agrippa. Henry Cornelius Agrippa. Commentaries on the occult philosophy. Okay. When powerful, the passions of the soul, which follow the fantasy, not only can alter an individual's own body, but can extend their influence to the bodies of others, so as to cause or cure bodily or mental disease. The passions of the soul are the main cause of our physical state of health. A strongly elevated soul, under the stimulus of a lively imagination, bestows good or ill will not only to one's own body, but also to the bodies of others. Henry Cornelius Agrippa, over 300 years ago, commentaries on the occult philosophy. That's a pretty profound statement. It's an amazing belief. Henry Cornelius Agrippa's writings are about this thick. It's huge. And he is very well read. So to read such a statement from a man with such learning is something we need to pay attention to. He was of the opinion 400 years ago that people, by virtue of their imagination, can actually influence the health of their own bodies and the health of others. It's very interesting. See. Oh man, let's see. I think therefore I am. Yeah, man, but Descartes got some really deep stuff. I might pull my Descartes. I got an old paperback. I might pull it out and just read you some passages. Yeah, and I already know you're gonna get like I did. Most of you are just gonna look doe-eyed into the camera like, oh my God, because it's profound how deep this man thought. It was almost. I mean, it's better than Posterior Analytics by Aristotle. I read both, but it's I don't know. So we are getting kind of late in the deal. I do have one thing, I want something profound I need to read to you guys. This is not a quote. This is an assessment about focused thought. We're going to get to it right now. Okay, guys. Scientific experimentation has shown that focused thought has affected the growth rate in plants. Focused thought has been shown to change the direction of fish as they swim in a bowl. In experiments, scientific experiments, focused thought has been shown to alter the synchronization of separately automated systems. Focused thought has caused chemical reactions in one's own body. Focused thought has altered the crystalline structure of newly forming solids that were rendered mutable. Focused thought of loving thoughts at a glass of water has produced beautiful ice patterns when frozen. Negative thoughts focused at a glass of water as it was being frozen produced chaotic fractured forms. Focused thought has caused particles to pop into existence due simply to one's desire to see them under scientific controlled conditions. That's amazing. This is worse than the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This means this observer-dependent experience that we're in right now is completely influenced by the observer themselves. This goes deep into the secrets of quantum mechanics. It's why non-locality, it's why the particle is there. Once a phenomena is being focused on, it crystallizes into a phenomena. When no one's paying attention to that phenomena, it's amorphous. It is a data cloud. It is pure information, but it hasn't been constructed. That construction requires the observer. This is why, in a simulated context, how it is so easy to keep all this going, because the only thing the construct needs to do is provide your reality tunnel, which is very restricted by virtue of the central nervous system's ability to filter only the data that's needed for you to see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. Beyond that, it doesn't need to provide any world for you. It doesn't. Therefore, the energy output in making your world work for you is very negligible. It's small, and even more negligible if you're a part of a collective. If you have accepted a polarity, if you're deep into a certain paradigm. But if you're a highly individualized, free-thinking individual, the construct has problems with you. This is why things seem very anomalous around you. This is why things begin to unravel and reality doesn't make sense to you. And the reason is because reality is feeding you things that are disparate, that are very different and variant than the collective, because the collective is bought into a paradigm. They're either fiercely conservative Republicans, always at war with socialists and Democrats. Therefore, the construct feeds them everything that will further that paradigm. Or they could be Muslims that are completely against anything that's not Islamic, so they're fed that paradigm and they're fed that world. And it's very easy and doesn't take a lot of energy to control a whole lot of people when they're all believing in the exact same things, because the belief in the exact same things produces the same phenomena, and the same phenomena is going to affect masses when it's the same amount of energy that creates that phenomena. So this is very interesting scientific output right here about focused thought. The conclusion is that the mind has the power to encourage the physical world to move in a certain direction. Intention is a learned skill. Practice increases one's ability to affect the physical world. Remember, you're the architect. An architect uses the imagination to build something that doesn't exist. And as the architect, in your avatar, you move in the direction of the very thing you envisioned, but you're not the builder. You're only here to influence, because faith is absolutely required to receive the finished product. You have to have faith in the builders. So anyway, good Q&A session. I might have went overboard a little bit with the time and all my quotes, but I've got a lot of quotes. And I'm going to go back later on tonight. I'm going to go back through the chat and see how y'all responded to different things. I don't know. I asked y'all some questions, but I'm not able to review the answers in a live feed. I had a great time. Love it. I'm putting love you guys in the chat right now. And I've already got my mind on dinner. And I might just enjoy, because it's been weeks, but I might just enjoy. Last time y'all saw this was like 8 months ago. But I might just enjoy a shot tonight because I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood to read a book. Love you guys.